Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the After Whistle podcast. I'm your host, Owen Tomko. Today we'll be going over the Week 17 NFL games. I know it's 10:30 again. There's 2, 4, 6, 7 games going on right now. 7 games that I would have liked to pick, but I was an idiot, didn't do it yesterday, and yeah. So we have Miami at Buffalo. Miami is playing for a playoff spot here. If Miami does win this game, they are winning in. So they win, they're in. They lose, I don't know what they're going to have to do. I think they're out. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore is the same thing. They're winning in as well. They're playing at Cincinnati right now, and they're up 10-0. So more than likely they're going to win this game. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Cleveland is also winning in. So two teams in the what are they? The NFC North or something like that? I can't remember. They are also fighting for a playoff spot because they're also winning it. So let's see. No, they're the AFC North. The next game, you have the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Minnesota is missing Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, his father passed away, I think yesterday or the day before, so prayers out to him, but they are leading. They're actually, wait a minute. They're 0-0 with 5:22 left in the first. New York, the Jets at New England, no playoff implications there. Dallas at New York, there is playoff implications there. Whoever wins this game has to hope the football team, Washington football team, they lose and they make the playoffs. So the Cowboys are win and Washington lose to make the playoffs, and so are the Giants. Giants are win and Washington lose to make the playoffs. And the last game is the Atlanta Falcons at Tampa Bay. I think I have Atlanta winning that game. So Alright, so with that being said, I guess we'll just jump right into our slate of games today. We got all the games today. There's no Monday night game. I don't think there was a Thursday night game either. Yeah, there's no Thursday night game because that was New Year's Eve. So, wild card weekend's next weekend. So, the first game I guess we'll get into is the 12-3 Green Bay Packers headed to Chicago to take on the 8-7 Chicago Bears. Packers, and once again enter this game 12-3 to the Bears 8-7. Mitch Trubisky, I think, is getting the start for the Chicago Bears. So is Aaron Rodgers, of course, unless he's hurt. The over-under this game is 48.5. I'm going to take the over. I think it's a high-scoring divisional game. Green Bay is, yes, they've already made the playoffs. I don't know if they plan on benching any of their starters. So it's always a weird week. Week 17 is because every team that's already made the playoffs starts to bench their starters, and they either lose because they don't have their starters in, or they win because another team doesn't have their starters in. So I don't know what Green Bay's going to do here. I think they've already clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC. Actually, no, they haven't. They haven't clinched the top seed in the NFC yet. I don't think. I think they have to win to clinch it. So, with that being said, I think Green Bay does play their starters. I'll take the over. Green Bay is favored by 4.5. Yes, I'm going to take Green Bay to win, Green Bay to cover. Yeah, so players to watch in this game, Devontae Adams and Mitch Trubisky. Devontae Adams has just been an absolute freak this year, as I know that because he's been on my fantasy team, and that dude is a hard carry. He's carried me. And Trubisky has played he's played decent in the last couple of weeks for the Bears. So, next game, you have the Las Vegas Raiders headed to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos. Vegas enters this game 7-8 out of playoff contention. Denver enters this game 5-10, also out of playoff contention. Over into this game is 50.5. I'm going to take the under here. I think Vegas does score points here, scored some good amount of points here, but I don't think Denver scores. Even though, yeah. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to say Vegas wins. The spread is 2.5, by the way, in favor of Vegas. I'm going to say Vegas does win this game and does cover. So I take the under, I take Vegas to win, Vegas to cover. Players to watch in this game, Derek Carr, who screwed me in my fantasy playoffs last year, or the last 2 weeks. He got hurt in the second drive of week 14, or what was that? It was week 15. Yeah, it was week 15 he got hurt, second round of playoffs. And then I started Marcus Mariota last week. Yeah, he didn't play, and Derek Carr came back, so he hoed me twice. But with that being said, Derek Carr is the player to watch for the Raiders. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks on third down this year. He's one of the highest completion percentages quarterback ratings on third down this year. And players to watch for the Broncos, I'm going to say Drew Lock. I'm going to say both quarterbacks here. Drew Lock has had a very disappointing year. Most of the people, even including myself, thought Drew Lock was going to be the franchise for Denver, but I don't think that is the case. I don't know. I mean, he was hurt for some part of the year, but really, with all the weapons around him, mind you, their defense hasn't helped them, but with all the weapons around him, he's kind of been underwhelming. 14 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, so that's not good. But so yeah, once again, I take the under. I'll take under, Vegas to win, Vegas to cover. Let's go to our next game here. We have, for some reason, my computer doesn't want to work. The next game we have is the Jacksonville Jaguars headed to Indianapolis to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville has locked in the number 1 overall pick, meaning we're more than likely going to see Trevor Lawrence in a Jags jersey, even though they lost in the college football playoff game to Justin Fields and the Ohio State Buckeyes, which I did not expect, by the way. If you watched my prediction video for the college football playoff, I had Clemson winning, Clemson covering, which means they would have had to score 10+. But boy, was I wrong. I was right on Notre Dame, though, because, I saw that coming. So Jacksonville enters this game 1-14, clinched the number 1 overall pick. Jets have clinched the number 2 overall pick. Wouldn't be surprised if the Jets actually trade out of that pick. Maybe to the Niners or somebody. So the Niners trade up and get like a Wilson or Fields. I don't know. But the Indianapolis Colts into this game 10-5. Over on this game's 48. I'm going to take the under. Once again, I think the Colts are going to score some points, but I don't think Jacksonville's going to score any. And the spread is 15.5 in favor of Indianapolis. I don't know what to say here because, I'm going to take Indianapolis to cover. So, Indianapolis to win, Indianapolis to cover, and I'm taking the under. Players to watch for in this game, Jonathan Taylor again, and let's see, and who's starting at quarterback? I think it's Mike Glennon starting at quarterback for the Jaguars. So I'm gonna say Mike Glennon and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, ever since I dropped him in fantasy in like week 10, the dude has been absolutely on fire. He's closing up on 100 yards. He needs 84 yards to get to that 1,000-yard mark on the year as a rookie, which is pretty impressive. 9 touchdowns on 202 carries. So that's really, really good. But he's going to be the key to that. And just run the football on these guys, and you'll win the game. For Jacksonville, Mike Glennon, I think, is going to start, which means they're going to have to throw the ball and throw the ball very, very well for some miracle to happen. On to our next game. You have the 6-9 Los Angeles Chargers headed to Kansas City to take on the 14-1 Kansas City Chiefs. The thing with Kansas City here is they are benching most of their starters, including Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have Chad Henne come in and play quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, while the Chargers, I think, are full-staffed without any injuries. So, with that being said, the over-under this game is 43. That's because Mahomes isn't there. I'm going to take the over. I think the Chargers are going to score some points. and I'm gonna have to assume that the Chiefs are gonna score points, because they always score points. They always find a way to score points. The Chargers are actually favored in this game by 7. Never thought I'd be seeing this year the Chargers being favored over the Chiefs. But I will take the Chargers to win this game, actually, which means I do expect them to cover. The spread 7, I take them to cover. So I take the Chargers to win, Chargers to cover, and I'm taking the over. Players to watch in this game. Herbert has been a freak this year. It really has blown my expectations out of the water. 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Still 10 interceptions, which isn't too bad for a rookie, but definitely isn't the mark he wants to be at. And for Kansas City, I'm going to say Chad Henne, I guess, because why not? I mean, he's starting today, so we don't know what we're going to get out of him. He's got to play well. I mean, if any of the Chiefs' weapons are going to play, you got to find a way to utilize them, right? So that's that game. On to our next game. This is going to be an interesting game because there's something I got to tell you guys on this game. It is the 8-7 Arizona Cardinals and the 9-6 Los Angeles Rams. The Rams don't have Jared Goff. Jared Goff got hurt. Broke his thumb, or dislocated his thumb, had to have thumb surgery or whatever. And they're starting, what's his name? Oh no, I gotta go find it. They're starting a emergency backup quarterback who was a finance guy and was played in the Arizona Football League for a while. I gotta find his name here. John Wolford. He's a finance professional. He played for the Arizona Hotshots in the AAF. I don't know what that is. Probably the Arizona something football league. And he's going to get the start today for the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know anything about this guy. Nothing. Know nothing about this guy. And this is a big game for the Rams. This is like winning in, pretty much. Because they're already in the playoffs. But if they lose, I think they have to have the Bears lose as well against the Packers, which I do see happening. With that being said, Arizona needs to get back to 500 here at 8-8. I think they also have a chance in. I'm pretty sure about that. I don't know. But over on this game's 41.5. I'm going to take the over. I think it is going to be a higher scoring game than 20 points for each team. The spread is 2 in favor of Arizona. I'm going to take Arizona to win here. I think Arizona's playing all their guys. So I do expect them to win. And I don't know what I'm going to expect out of this other quarterback for the Rams. So that's going to be a big piece to watch for the Rams. They got to find a way to win this game. But yes, so the over/under's 2.5, or the spread's 2.5 in favor of Arizona. I will take Arizona to win. I will take the over. I will take Arizona to win, Arizona to cover, and I will take the over. Players to watch in this game. That quarterback for the Rams, I just completely forgot his name again. Wolford or something like that. Gotta watch out for him. I mean, you might as well watch out for that whole offense. Because I think Cooper Kupp's also not playing. So they are losing some big pieces on that offense. But you're going to have to look for Robert Woods and those guys. And for Arizona, I'm going to say that offense as well. I mean, that offense is explosive. It really can be. Murray, it was an embarrassing performance against the Niners last week on Saturday afternoon football. But it was bad. It was embarrassing. So hopefully that offense finds a way to turn it around and has a good day against a very, very, very good Rams. Very, very good Rams defense. So with that being said, I'm taking the over. I'm taking Arizona to win, Arizona to cover, and the players to watch in that game are both the offenses. On to our next game. You have the Seattle Seahawks headed to. I think we're headed to Yeah, State Farm Stadium, I was going to say. We're headed to Arizona to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Seattle enters this game 11-4 to San Francisco 6-9. Seahawks, I don't know if they have a chance at that number one seed. I would have to assume that the Packers would have to lose and the Saints would have to lose to earn that number one seed, which would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. But over under this game is 45. I'm gonna take the over. I think after what San Francisco did last week against the Cardinals, I think they're gonna play off that momentum and play pretty good. Seattle coming off a interesting win against the Rams last week, 20-9. It didn't really look good on offense. Really looked good on defense though. So if our defense can keep playing like they're playing right now, we're gonna be a team to fear in the playoffs. Spread is 7 in favor of Seattle. I will take Seattle to win, Seattle to cover. I just think our offense has to find some time to start clicking, and it's got to be now. Got to start getting hot for the playoffs. I mean, playoffs is a week away. I mean, wild card weekend is Saturday. It starts Saturday. So, it is what it is. But once again, I will take the over, Seattle to win, Seattle to cover. Players to watch in this game. I don't know. I'm going to say Chris Carson. Chris Carson really hasn't had the best statistical year. He's 637 yards and 5 touchdowns on 130 carries. Not the greatest season on the planet, but has come in clutch in some key situations for Seattle. So that's good. And for San Francisco, I'm going to say Nick Mullins. I mean, the quarterback, ever since he took over for Garoppolo a couple weeks ago, he's thrown for 2,400 yards, 12 touchdowns, 12 picks. Not the greatest touchdown-interception ratio. Not what you want to see. You want to see more of that 2-to-1, 3-to-1 rate. But even that's bad. But once again, he's going to have to play really, really well. He's playing against this very, very hot Seattle Seahawks defense. And if Seattle can get after the quarterback, I think we're going to have a very good chance of winning this game, because we've since week 8 the Seattle Seahawks have led the league in sacks, which is unbelievable because we do not have a pass rush. We have one of the worst front sevens on the planet. I mean, our linebackers are good, but our defensive line is terrible. So if we just get after them, I think we'll be successful. On to our next game, you have the New Orleans Saints headed to Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. Once again, I said for the Seattle Seahawks to get the number one pick, the Bears have to beat the Packers, and the Panthers have to beat the Saints. Saints enter this game 11-4 to Carolina's 5-10. New Orleans is playing without Alvin Kamara. Kamara tested positive for COVID, and since then, all of the running back room for New Orleans has been deemed high-risk close contacts to Alvin Kamara. So the Saints are coming into this game with no running back. So expect probably Taysom Hill to line up in the backfield at some point, and a lot of 5 wide and spread formations, putting somebody in the backfield for Kamara and those guys. But with that being said, the over on this game is 46.5. I'm gonna take the over. Once again, the Saints are gonna score a lot of points, and the Carolina Panthers are not. But I think it's gonna be enough to cover. Spread in this game 7 in favor of New Orleans, and I'm gonna take them to win and cover. Sorry, because I just think they're gonna throw the ball, and with no running back, I mean they're gonna have to throw the ball for a lot of yards. Now, players to watch in this game, that Saints offense, and I don't know what they're gonna do without Kamara, because he's their leading rusher and their leading receiver. So, it's gonna be an interesting game to see who gets involved here. Taysom Hill, Jared Cook, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, guys to watch in this game. So I'm gonna say that whole offense. I'm going to be interested to see how Carolina plays this on defense. Probably a lot of nickel and dime looks with no threat of the run. I mean, Breeze ain't going to run. I know the only person that's going to be able to run on that offense is Taysom Hill. So expect him to line up in the backfield and get him some touches at running back. With that being said, for Carolina, I'm going to say Teddy Bridgewater. He's had a decent year. I mean, he's not really been the savior Carolina is hoped for. But mind you, McCaffrey has been out pretty much this whole year. So they haven't been without their best player in the team this year. So, and he's a big factor in both the run and the pass game. Bridgewater is thrown for 3,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Not a bad stat line, but definitely hasn't been the guy Carolina's fans have been hoping for. So, depending on where they pick, they might want to go somewhere on the offensive side of the ball, maybe a receiver or quarterback even, because Bridgewater's getting up there in age. We got 2 more games here to get to. We're at the 20-minute mark right now, so it's gonna be a little bit of a medium-long video. But next game, you have the Tennessee Titans, 10-5, headed to Houston to take on the 4-11 Houston Texans. Houston 4-11. They do not have their first-round pick this year. That is with Miami. They made the deal for Laramie Tunsil a couple of years ago, which means Miami is more than likely going to have a top 5 pick this year. So that'll be interesting to see. I think they go Devonta Smith. That's just me, though. I'll be doing draft stuff after playoffs and after all the college football stuff, which is ending not this Monday, but next Monday. So over in this game is 55. I'm going to take the under. I think... oh, no. Never mind. Tennessee's going to have to win this game, so I'm going to take the... I'm still going to take the under. Tennessee has to win this game to get in. They clinch the AFC South if they win this game over the Colts. So, with that being said, the Titans are going to win this game, and they're going to win this game really handily. They're spreading this game 7 in favor of Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee to win, Tennessee to cover. I'm taking the under as well. As weird as it sounds, I'm taking the under, but I'm taking Tennessee to win, Tennessee to cover. Players to watch for: Derrick Henry. I'm not even going to say anything about him. And Houston, Deshaun. Deshaun has been one of the most... he hasn't been talked about at all this year because he's been on a terrible team. But, I mean, you look at his numbers, he's up there for one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. He's thrown for 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's a 5... whatever. And that's a pretty good touchdown-interception ratio right there. But I don't know. I mean, I think he hasn't really been talked about considering he's on the 4-11 team, but he really has been phenomenal this year. He's been carrying this Houston team even though to 11 losses. Their defense hasn't been helping them, neither has their offense. But definitely somebody to watch out for. I think he should be talked about more into the MVP race, but that would have been like a couple weeks ago when Aaron Rodgers didn't explode against Tennessee. So, once again, I'm taking the under, Tennessee to win, Tennessee to cover. Players to watch for: Derrick Henry and Deshaun Watson. It's going to be an interesting game because Tennessee's going to have to run the ball. And as you saw last week, I think, against the Packers, they really didn't run the ball very well. So if you can get Tennessee out of the run game, you're winning the game because that's their strategy here. And if you can't run the ball, you ain't going to win that game for Tennessee. As much as I like Tannehill, he really hasn't played to the level he did this year. So, on to our next game, the last game. Arguably, it's a big playoff game for the NFC. The NFC least, actually. It's a 6-9 Washington football team headed to Philadelphia to take on the 4-10-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia was eliminated from the playoffs last week. Was eliminated from the playoffs last week with their loss. So now, Washington, big game for Cowboys and Giants fans. Cowboys fans, you're the biggest Eagles supporters in the world right here if you win this game. And so are the Giants. If the Giants win, they're the biggest Eagles supporters in the world as well. I mean, Cowboys fans hate the Eagles. So that'll be interesting to see. But if Philadelphia wins this game, the winner of the Cowboys-Giants game goes on to the playoffs. So with that being said, I'm taking Washington to win this game. As weird as it sounds, Alex Smith is back at quarterback for the Washington football team, so Tyler Heineke is not going to start, which I think is a prayer for them, because I haven't heard of Heineke before this week, but yeah. So I'm taking the over under this game's 43. I'm going to take the. I'm honestly going to take the under. As weird as it sounds, Washington's defense is just too good here. I think they play to Philadelphia's strengths, and they can stop them. Like, they have one of the best front sevens in the league, and they're going to be able to stop the run. And if they can find a way to stop Jalen Hurts, they win this game. Spread in this game 6.5 in favor of Washington. I'm taking Washington to win, which means Washington to cover as well. Players to watch in this game: Alex Smith and Jalen Hurts, both quarterbacks. Alex Smith coming off a calf injury, and that is the same calf he had the same calf that they took muscle from to fix his leg, his other leg. So it's probably pretty weak, but he's back. He's going to play, and he's hopefully the savior for Washington here. And Jalen Hurts, he's played pretty good actually since he's came in and took over for Carson Wentz. It sounds like Carson Wentz is going to ask for a trade during the offseason because he wants out, or he knows Hurts is going to get the starting job next year over him. So he wants to go to a different team. But if Hurts plays well, I think they got a shot. I mean, if he can get outside that nasty front seven, I think they got a chance in this game. So a lot of things got to go right for 1, Philadelphia to win, and 2, Washington to win. So, So with that being said, I'm taking the under. I'm taking Washington to win, Washington to cover. Players to watch in this game: Alex Smith and Jalen Hurts. So that's going to be it, guys, actually. I know it's a bit of a longer episode for the very few games that I went over. I went over like 10 games. But I was a little long-winded on a lot of them and a little slow talking today. I don't know why, but probably a little tired. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. It's going to be interesting. I got to figure out what I'm going to start to do after the season starts. I know I'm going to do playoff stuff, and then once the playoffs end, I'm going to probably get into like NFL draft stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, just let me know. Then college, I don't really know what I'm going to do, because once college is done, I could go into like player profiles and stuff like that, but I don't know, I got to do some research on that. So that being said, guys, like I already said, thank you all for watching, and I'm going to end it right here. I know I pushed 28 minutes, and I apologize for that, and it is now 11 o'clock, but, I'm scuffed. I told you that at the beginning. I'm not the greatest at this, but, I do it for fun. It's something fun for me to do. It's something I'm passionate about, and I love talking to even like a screen, just letting people, informing people in my opinion and what I think. So, yeah. Alright, guys. Thanks you all for watching, and I will see you guys sometime this week. I know I go back to school this week, and I got finals in 3 weeks. So, if in 3 weeks or so the scheduling gets all screwed up because I'm not posting that week, it's because I got finals. So, I'll just let you know about that. But I'll try and keep everything up to date, and I would definitely do something for the Super Bowl. Yep. Alright, guys. Peace, guys.